So I was just cleaning out my refrigerator and I just had a memory that I really wanted to share because it's something that was a good memory and it just warmed my heart. So ever since Zion moved with his father when he was like 5 years old, um, then I only had him on the weekends, and I didn't really make a whole lot of money to be like taking him a whole bunch of places. In fact, a lot of people swear that I'm just swimming in dough because I have the resources to do whatever I want to do for the most part. And a lot of those resources come from people who love me and who want my energy around them, male or female, doesn't matter. So they will pay for me to come. They'll pay for me, they'll help me pay to do things. I usually just get stuff. So with Zion, I was teaching him, we taught each other, we were working with each other, teaching each other how to manifest things so that way he can have experiences that I couldn't necessarily pay for. So everything that we worked on manifesting, he manifested. A lot of them without me, like Disneyland, Legoland, um, Universal Studios, things like that. We would sit together. He would tell me what he wanted. We would put our energy together. We would manifest it. We would write it down. I'll have him write it down, whatever, during like new moons and just different times like that. And the stuff will come to pass, right? And so, anyways, because of the fact that ever since I separated from my husband, like I separated from him right when I started working. I was a stay-at-home mom, and like maybe like a year, not even a full year of me working, we separated. So so I was always fearful about not being able to take care of me and Zion. And Zion lived with me for 2 years. And so I had this thing like, fuck, because I couldn't financially provide him certain things, even though he got it anyway. It wasn't coming out of my pocket, and that made me feel insecure financially because I couldn't just take the money out of my pocket and just pay for him to have whatever he wanted. I had to work at it. We manifested it. You know what I'm saying? Like without me having to pay. So that made me feel insecure about my motherhood and, just situations and issues between his father and I made me feel insecure about my motherhood or whatever. And so I just really emphasized and made it a point that, we trust each other and that we love each other and that we have this bond, even though I only seen him on the weekends. And then once I transitioned out of work, earlier this year in March, I transitioned out of work because we had this whole plan, Zion and I, how I was going to transition out of work. I was going to be working for myself. And then as soon as I was able and my money was right, I was going to pull him out of school and I was going to homeschool him. And so, and I was so close. We were getting close and close, whatever, right? So this March 2019, I transitioned out of work and I started working full time for myself and doing the things that I love to do. One of them being modeling, tarot reading, um, facilitating workshops, cooking, sewing, like all the things that I love to do, making bath salts, all the stuff. I just got paid to do them, right? Paid for my ideas, to meet with people, consultations, all sorts of stuff. So, but then having to work, being a model and working for myself, a lot of my work was on the weekends. And that's the only time I had with my baby. So I was feeling like hella like insecure because I felt like, fuck, like my time is limited, but if I sacrifice now, then later we'll be able to spend more time together. And that was always my mind and always my thought. And so what I would do to make it work out is I would spend a night over his grandma's house with him, over his dad's mom's house with him, in between shows or in between work during the weekend. And he would stay at his grandma's and I would come sleep over there, spend a night with him, go to work, come back, spend the day with him, go back, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Then I'll take him to school or whatever, or however it worked out, on Monday. And so I was feeling like always like had this thing in the back of my mind, like I just really want him to know that I love him and that, even though like our time is limited and stuff like that, like I really want him to know that I love him and I want him to trust me. I want him to be able to trust me and I want our bond to be solidified, and just I had all these insecurities about that for numerous reasons. So anyway, right before he passed away in August, I believe it was August or the end of July, we went to a friend's birthday party, and there was a water thing there, like a bouncer with a slide and a water slide or whatever, and he made me play with him with that. Like, we always, every time we went on a play date, except for one, I remember at Miles' house, he would make me play with him. So I would play with him and his friends or whatever. So I was in the jumper with them, going down the water slide, all this stuff. And then he was done with the water. And then he was like, "Mommy, let's play a game." And I was like, "Okay." He's always making up games. And I'm always like, "Okay, cool." He's so creative, right? And he was like, I'm like, "What is this game called?" And he's like, "It's called Mommy, I Trust You." And I was like, "Okay, how do we play?" He's like, "Okay, we put this towel over my head, and then you tell me where to go. And then I trust you, and I follow you. I follow your voice. You tell me where to go, and you just hold my hand." And so that's what we did. We just played that game for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We were the only people playing that game, obviously, because it was a game he made up. But while all the kids were playing in the water thing, me and him were playing Mommy, I Trust You. And it just hit me while I was cleaning up, because while he was in the hospital, a lot of what we were going through, we were telepathically communicating, was his trust for me. "Mommy, I trust you. Do you trust me?" "Yes, I trust you, Z." "Okay, Mommy, I trust you too." And it was like this thing. And so I feel like my baby always knew that he was going to leave before he grew up. So many things, especially with hindsight, so many things, even the way he was conceived, everything, right? And like where my mind was at and everything, and like how I felt about even having a baby, all that, it totally makes sense to me, So for me, it was like, damn, like the week or two before he passed away, we played the game, Mommy, I Trust You. That's the first time we ever played that game. And I feel like that was such a beautiful gift that he gave me with that game. He's like, "Mommy, I trust you." Straight up. So no matter what anybody says, no matter how you feel, I trust you, Mommy. I love you, I trust you, and I know you love me. And so that was a big deal for me. And I just thought about that right now while I was cleaning out the refrigerator, like midstream in the fridge, wiping everything down. And I was like, damn, Mommy, I trust you. And he's been telling me that ever since, he was in the hospital, and his body failed, because he left his body days before his body failed him or whatever. That's a whole nother story. That's the book, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to share that memory, because it's just so profound to me how that works and how that was and how right on time that was. Mommy, I trust you. Anyways, all right, people, I just really hope that we all come to realize and understand that there's no such thing as death. We are spiritual beings first, and the spirit does not die. Okay, so the body may die, the body may perish, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but that spirit is alive. And I hope to be able to help people to be able to communicate with their transition loved ones, because it's so possible. They're not gone. They're not dead. They're alive. Okay, very much so. So hopefully throughout this process, I can learn through practice on how to teach others how to communicate with their deceased loved ones. So I don't know if everybody's capable of communicating with people who passed on, because there's such thing as mediums for real. But I believe so, because I know that our loved ones, when they transition, they try their hardest to get our attention. They move stuff, they do stuff, they show you stuff, they play songs, they do all kind of shit to help us to see that they're still here. And so I just encourage you all to talk to your loved ones. And if you want a sign, if you want to know they're there, ask them for a sign. You could even be specific. Like, let me find a penny face up, heads up, 7 up on the goddamn ground to let me know that it's you. Show me a feather that's red. Give me a red feather to show me it's you. And they will. Anyways, I love you guys. Until next time. Toodles.